Keep me pulled up so you can share it. Live. I'm so excited today. I'm gonna wait until I show up on Facebook so I can share it so that all your friends can see it. Okay, we're on.
All right.
So we can share it now to our personal pages if you want to, Jennifer.
I just did.
You're so good. You're better than me. I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. All right, it's done. So, hey everybody. Hey Thomasville. Welcome to the Kisker Show. Keeping it simple, keeping it real. I'm Leslie Bennett, and I am with Bennett Real Estate Company, for those of you that don't know me. And I am very excited. I'm actually on my 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. This is my 10th Kisker Show since, we've had the COVID-19 crisis. So I'm just really enjoying it and kind of settling in and feeling more comfortable. And before we get started, y'all let me know if there's anybody that you think would be great on the show or would like to be on the show, because I love promoting local, and I love promoting local businesses, but I also love educating our fellow Thomasvillians. So this is really fun to me, in case you didn't know it. If it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. So I want to introduce you to Jennifer Dunn. Jennifer works for the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. That's DBHDD. They are a state agency that contracts for mental health and addictive disease services. So basically, she works with people who have mental health or addictive diagnosis to connect them with mental health professionals. Is that it? Did I leave out anything?
You got it. It's a mouthful, but you got it.
I told her though she was such a big dog, because I know Jennifer. First of all, she knows my husband. Y'all went to high school together, right?
We did.
Albany.
That's right. Lee County.
Yep. Okay. And then our children met in 𝐷𝐿𝐼𝐒𝐾𝐫 class.
Right.
In the first grade. And they are still friends, and they are seniors this year.
No.
Heck of a senior year they're having.
Yeah. Right.
So, well, this is really cool. This is kind of a different. I would say this is a lot different than some of our other stuff, so I'm real excited about it, and I've got a sheet full of questions here, so I'm going to try to stay on track. So Jennifer, I know that, actually a friend of mine was telling me that, wow, we should have had this show on sooner, because he said you would be surprised at how many people are dealing with emotional and mental stress right now due to this COVID-19. And I mean, honestly, I'm a very happy person all the time. That's a lie.
You are.
So I probably appear to be always happy, but I mean, definitely, I'm like everybody else. And so I've been feeling the stress of it too, for sure. So I mean, with that, is it normal for people to feel stressed or depressed right now?
Of course. I'd be worried if people didn't. I would, we've launched an emotional support line for the COVID-19 pandemic that we're taking calls from people that are feeling stressed out. And that's what I tell people all the time. If you're not stressed right now, I would be a little more concerned, because people are isolated, they're home by themselves, and they're lonely. People that have experienced this in the past, like depression and anxiety, are going to probably experience it a little bit more. And some people that have never experienced it are experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah. That is totally understandable, because honestly, we're doing life differently than we've ever had to do it, right? I mean, I know that. I mean, I think I said yesterday, I think we might look back in this, and we might really be able, on the other side of this, to see some positive things, and to see that it actually wasn't maybe as bad as we thought, but it's different, right?
Yeah, it is very different. And we're hearing from a lot of people who are just very sad and lonely, and not leaving their house. They're maybe stuck at home with young kids because the schools are closed. All sorts of things that we've never had to deal with. And you're a very extroverted person like me, and so I feel better when I'm connecting with people.
Yeah.
And while I'm working every day, because I am in healthcare, and I guess I'm considered one of the essential workers, I'm not able to meet with people and connect with them like I typically would.
Yeah.
Because you can't get in contact with people. So
right.
It's a lot of phone calls and telehealth and things like that. So it's just a different way to connect. And for some people, that's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting to me, I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't have your credentials, but I feel like that that even once all this goes away, I don't know that it's ever going to go away, but when we are able to manage it, right, and go back to whatever we call normal, we're going to have. I think that there's going to be people that continue doing business this way, right?
Maybe so. I don't know right now, because it's hard to imagine things are changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we're trying not to do is, get caught up in too far down the road. We want to stay kind of in the moment, present with what we know right now, and make our decisions based on now. But it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself causes a lot of anxiety. For me, I'm a planner. I like to plan things, and I can't plan things right now like I normally would. You mentioned graduation. It's probably not a big deal to our two boys, Gus and Ben, but it's a big deal to moms, because we want to celebrate, and that's just a rite of passage that everybody gets to go through that, kids are not getting right now. And so that is stressful.
And for you, it's your first one graduating. So so I think maybe it's a little different for me because I've had it with Buck, but I 100% understand. For them, they don't really act like they know what's going on. I think the girls probably took it worse.
Probably so. Yeah, that's true.
So let's get right into that. If someone is feeling depressed or overwhelmed right now, what can they do?
Well, if you live here in the Thomasville area, and most of, I think, the viewers probably do, you can reach out to the Georgia Pines Community Service Board, and they are located on Smith Avenue. They also have a crisis center that is on Cassidy Road, and so they are still open and available, doing business as usual. Now, they are doing business in a different way. They can't have the groups that they would normally have, because you have to have less than 10 people. But they are still doing doctor's appointments, therapist appointments. If you are in crisis and you want to go to the crisis center, that's still available. If you are outside of the Thomasville area and you wanted to talk to somebody in Albany or maybe in the Valdosta area, we've got connections, and I can put them up so that you can display them for people that might want to link to those resources that are very similar service, like the Georgia Pines area.
Yeah.
The other thing we've got going is, about a week ago on April 6th, our department launched a COVID-19 emotional support line. This is a support line that we have staffed with people who have been through a mental health first aid class. And so a lot of people are like, well, what is mental health first aid? And the best way to describe it is, a lot of people have been through CPR or just the basic first aid class. Mental health first aid is an 8-hour class that teaches you the signs and symptoms to recognize when somebody is going through a mental health crisis. It's also teaching the signs and symptoms to recognize when someone's just feeling depressed, anxious. They may have some alcohol or substance use issues. So it teaches you the signs and symptoms to recognize, and then how to refer them.
Yeah.
So everybody that is manning this call support line has been through a mental health first aid class. So they have those resources. Now, this is not a crisis line. So if the person calls in and they say they are in crisis, they may be feeling suicidal, we're going to connect them to the Georgia Crisis and Access Line, which is a crisis service that can send a team out of people, a mobile crisis team, and they can assess the person right there where they are. So they don't have to go to an ER. Because, a lot of people like to go to the ER. Well, right now, it's not a great time to go to the ER.
You mean they go to the ER if they're having a mental breakdown?
Right. And so that's traditionally been what people have done in the past. But that takes up emergency room resources that should be available for people that are in a physical health crisis.
Right.
So we've got a mobile crisis team. We started funding these teams about 5 or 6 years ago. We advertise it, but sometimes I find that people still don't know they exist.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we have one all over every county in Georgia, 159 counties, 24/7.
Right. Awesome. So, okay, so you've got a line set up specifically for this COVID-19, and if they need additional services, what you're saying is y'all will connect them to whoever they need to go to.
We'll do a
Awesome.
warm transfer. So let's say they are in a crisis and they want to talk to somebody about that. We're going to transfer them to the crisis line. Let's
Yeah.
say they have some substance use history and they want to talk to somebody in recovery. We're going to transfer them to what's called the CARES warm line. All of these are staffed 24/7 with professionals who either A, have been in recovery themselves, or B, are licensed clinicians.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. And it's all free.
It's all free.
Yeah, that's the best part. So you already talked a little bit about this when you said that you'd have people calling saying they were lonely. What are some other examples of maybe the types of calls you've received without, I know, being too specific?
Right. So I'm doing the training, so I'm training the people answering with a couple other colleagues, but I wanted to take a few shifts myself because I wanted to get a feel for the types of calls. Now, we get calls sometimes of people that just don't know where to call. Like I got one the other night, and it was a lady that wanted groceries delivered to her house.
Really?
And she English was not her first language, and so we do have interpreters. We also have for people that are hard of hearing or are deaf, we can connect them with an interpreter. So we do have the links to those resources. But this lady, English was not her first language, but we were able to communicate without going through an interpreter, and she just needed help figuring out how to get groceries. So in that example, I taught her how to download apps for delivery groceries. But I did ask her if she had resources, and if she didn't, I had a list of food banks that I could connect her to.
Wow.
So that it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But typically, so that's one example of kind of an outside the box call, but most of the calls that we've gotten so far have been people that say things like, I am stuck at home, I'm very sad, particularly around the South Georgia area where we've had per capita a lot more going on. We've got people that have lost someone and they can't grieve right now because they can't have funerals.
Oh.
And it's a very depressing kind of feeling to be able to, I mean, you know, I've personally been touched by somebody that I know that passed away. And I had to take a couple of days and get myself back into a good headspace because I was not handling it well because it's a shock, and so we're just talking to people about how they can connect with other people, and we give them resources. So sometimes it might be talking about deep breathing if they're having panic attacks. It might be connecting them with some internet resources, some meditation resources. I've used a couple of those myself, and I always chuckle because I'm surprised when they work, but they do. And we connect them with local resources in their community. So they when they call in, by the way, I should say this, they don't have to give any information except their first name and their county.
Yeah.
They also give us their phone number just in case there's a technical issue and we have to call them back.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're not asking for any, health, like their who they have their insurance with or anything. They just give us their basic information and the purpose of why they're calling.
Yeah.
But most are calling because they're very depressed and sad.
Yeah.
Grief has been a huge part of this with a lot of folks passing away. A lot of people worried about their loved ones that are in nursing homes and those that maybe have been in the hospital for, say, a heart procedure and weren't able to come home when they were supposed to because of what's going on. Yeah.
Well, I know my father-in-law is at Southern Pines, and of course we've not been able to go see him. And we FaceTimed him the other day, and luckily he doesn't always remember things, so he didn't know really, I don't think, if he had seen us the day before, but it had been a while. But he said, "Why don't y'all come get me? I want to ride around."
Yeah, right.
And but there are so many in there that I saw. It was so cool because I saw at many windows, I saw people at the windows talking to their loved ones through the windows. I mean, again, all this is kind of like crazy, how we're having to deal with things right now. Yeah. So what about, are you seeing a lot of people who are seeking help for the first time in their life? Like, are y'all getting people, never done this before?
Right. So we've gotten callers that have called in and said, I've felt depressed in the past, but I've never gotten help for it. I've never seen a therapist. I've never, gotten medication or anything like that. And so they're very insightful and able to articulate what they're feeling, which is super helpful. And the volunteers that are answering the phone are patient enough, because this is so confusing. So it's hard to articulate feelings when you're like, I've never felt this way before. What is this about? I talked to a lady that was having panic attacks, and she kind of knew what they were in theory, but to experience them for the first time was different. And so we're excited about the opportunity to reach people that we've never reached before.
Yeah.
We're also connecting with a lot of healthcare workers, because a lot of healthcare workers are using our resources, because they're on the front lines. The folks that are working, the nurses and the techs, the CNAs, even some doctors that are working on the front line that, typically feel like they have it together, but they're seeing things that they haven't seen before, and they're having to deal with things that are just very difficult. And some of them are separated from their families because they are working in a hospital. And so talking to them about the separation has come up a lot.
Yeah. I saw a Facebook Live of a nurse the other day, and she was just weeping. She said it was just what she was having to see, and so that I never thought of that, honestly, but I can imagine that they are under a lot of emotional stress, because they feel they're probably, to a lot of people, they're the only connection to the outside world.
That's it. And they are rock stars. And I come from a family of nurses. My mom, my aunts, my grandmothers, my stepmother. I have the utmost respect for what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say that this is a situation that lends itself to a relapse back into destructive habits, maybe for somebody who's, gotten through something, but now it's sending them back into it?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are seeing a little bit of that, because a lot of people are without their jobs right now. So people, people that have been in recovery have said that having a job gives them a purpose. And when the job goes away and they're at home, they have a lot more free time and start to revert back to some behaviors that were not productive. But it was their way of coping in the past, even though it didn't help them.
Right.
And so we're seeing a little bit of that, and we're trying to get people assistance before they go down any of those, roads, and give them some better coping skills.
Yeah. So so for those people, how can people at risk of relapse protect themselves during this time?
Wow, there's lots of things they can do. They can reach out to the emotional support line that I gave earlier.
Okay.
We can connect them to local resources, so they'll have somebody that they can. It's always better to connect them with somebody who's been there and done that. So I'm a therapist, but I haven't struggled with an addiction, issue. Listening to me talk to them is not going to be as meaningful as listening to somebody who's been there and done it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to connect them with somebody, a peer that can say, hey, I've been in your shoes. I know what this is like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's walk this road with you. Even if we have to do it over the telephone in the past where we would have done it in person.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, and so really y'all were, by doing it this way, it's leading to the anxiety and leading to the depression, but in a way it's also leading you, by everybody doing so much online now digitally, you're actually able to reach more people, really?
We can. And, the bottom line is we want to focus on hope and recovery, because there are a lot of people that struggle every day. And don't revert back to bad behavior. Well, not bad behaviors, but behaviors and substances that are not great, or coping skills that are not great. And those people have a lot of skills that we want to kind of capitalize on and benefit from, and say, what are you doing and how is it working for you? Because there are so many people that, say, for example, with suicide prevention, we have a lot of people that might think about suicide, but they don't do it. 95% of the people that think about it don't do it. So let's focus on that 95% as opposed to the percent of people that actually do it. And so we do a lot of suicide prevention. And again, the bottom line is the message is hope and recovery.
Yeah.
And I like that you said we could potentially reach more people, and I think we are. I think we're reaching a population of people that we wouldn't have before.
Yeah, that's I guess that's what I was trying to say. It just seems like because your method has changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this has been eye-opening for me for sure. So I think the main message that I want to make sure we're getting out, I don't think we can say it enough, is if people need these services, tell us again where they can go. And I'm also going to post this in the comments, so that we can make sure we blast this out. If y'all are watching and you know somebody who might be struggling, make sure you tag them, share this. Whatever you need to do, because we need to let people in Thomasville and the surrounding areas know that we've got this available. So tell us, Jennifer, tell us one more time, where can they go if they need these services?
Sure. So we have the emotional support line they can call, and that is 866-399-8938.
Okay.
So that was 866-399-8938.
Okay.
And I know that I sent you the flyer, so you're able to post that.
Yep.
Georgia Crisis and Access Line has two ways you can connect with them. One is their 800 number, which is 1-800-715-4225.
Okay.
They also have an app, and a lot of teenagers prefer to use the app because they can text. And if you go in your Play Store or your iTunes Store, it says My GCAL, so it's MY with GCAL, which GCAL stands for Georgia Crisis and Access Line. It's a little green icon. And so when you download that, you can text a therapist who is a licensed clinician and tell them what's going on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's a kind of a cool thing for people that prefer the text method as opposed to
so it's live chat, basically.
Yes, live chat.
Awesome.
And then we have a couple of other, warm lines that we're connecting people to. The CARES warm line is for people with addiction and recovery. That is 1-844-326-5400.
Okay.
Say that again.
I said okay. I'm writing them down, but like I can't get them from you later. I'm just busy over here writing.
And I sent this to you, and I think you'll be able to put it up, and it has all the information on there.
Awesome. Yeah, I should be able to do a link to all that. So I will work on that once we get done, and I'll share it everywhere that I can. So Jennifer, thank you so much. I mean, like I said, you're very knowledgeable, and I've enjoyed listening to you, and we're getting to know more about you, but more than that, just the services that Thomasville is providing and that you are a part of.
Right, and Georgia Pines is a resource here. 𝐷𝐼𝐒 is a resource here. We contract with a lot of providers locally that can be a great resource for people that are seeking services for the first time or wanting to come back to services, maybe if they had them before.
So if you're not sure where to go, you could just call this main hotline, and you'll get them wherever they need to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Jennifer and I were talking earlier, and we may do something along these lines in the future, maybe with one of the other therapists or somebody that Jennifer works with, and dig a little deeper into all of this. So, but thank you guys for watching. I've gotten the best feedback from this show. I said it earlier, and I just appreciate the encouragement that you guys have been giving me, and really giving the speakers that I've had on to interview. I mean, it does take time, and I just appreciate everybody that's been a part of it and watching it or being on the show. So I will be back tomorrow. Why can't I remember who I'm going to have tomorrow? It's going to be Sarah Aldridge with Thomas County or Thomas County Federal.
Cool.
They're TC Federal, So I'm going to have her tomorrow. She's going to be talking a lot about what the bank's doing for the community, and I'll be here all next week. Remember, if y'all know anyone that wants to be on the show, or y'all have got any ideas for what we can do, please reach out to me. I'm just having a ball, so I'm going to keep doing it until I guess I can't do it no more.
Thank you, Leslie. You're really an inspiration for doing this. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, I'm enjoying it. Definitely. Like I said, if it ain't fun, I ain't going to do it, and I am having a good time. So thank you again, Jennifer. We'll have all of Jennifer's contact information, all these numbers in the post. And if you have any questions, Jennifer will be tagged there so she can answer in the comments. And so everybody have a great Thursday. And thanks again, Jennifer. You have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. And we will see you guys later.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stay well.